Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo están? Por aquí estamos súper emocionados, la verdad, porque en 14 días es Ethereum México y el día de hoy tenemos una súper sesión con Austin Griffith, que es súper OG en el ecosistema de Ethereum, ha construido en Ethereum desde ya hace muchos años. Antes también estaba trabajando en Gitcoin, nos acompaña directamente de la Ethereum Foundation. También es el fundador de Speedrun Ethereum y bueno, seguramente muchas personas de aquí lo conocen. Y también nos acompaña Mitch, que es nuestro lead de hackathon, que va a estar también con ustedes estas próximas sesiones que tendremos, porque vamos a hacer sesiones preparativas para el hackathon, para que todas las personas que vayan a participar en el hackathon estén súper listas y también hagan un súper proyecto para que los lleve quizá a ser el próximo unicornio en México, no lo sabemos, todo puede pasar en este tipo de eventos. Y el día de hoy vamos a tener 2 idiomas, va a ser en español y en inglés. Ahora vamos a ir a la versión en inglés para que Austin sepa qué fue lo que dijimos ahora, pero en estas sesiones también les vamos a compartir alfa de lo que va a pasar en el evento de Ethereum México. Hoy les vamos a compartir una parte y luego en los otros días les vamos a estar compartiendo muchas más cosas porque siempre hay como nuevas sorpresas y se las queremos compartir. But yeah, now it's going to be in English. Austin, today we are super excited to have you. This is the first virtual session we have for as a multiple sessions to prepare everyone that are going to be part of the hackathon of Ethereum Mexico. The event is happening in 14 days, so we have 14 days to prepare everyone who is going to be in the hackathon and also in the conference. And yeah, so everyone can build a super cool project, and maybe we can have the next unicorn from Mexico from here. So yeah, let's see what happens. And we have you, Austin, an OG in the ecosystem of Ethereum. You were in Gitcoin. Yeah, you are now in the Ethereum Foundation, founder of Speedrun Ethereum. So yeah, you are a rockstar, Austin, and as well we have Mitch. He's a rockstar too. He's the hackathon lead. And well, I'm Anna. You know me, founder of Ethereum Mexico. And yeah, we are super excited you to share a lot of alpha about what's going to be happening in the hackathon. We are going to have multiple sessions. Also, Mitch is going to share more about that as well. But yeah, this is going to be awesome. So yeah, maybe we can give me one sec. I'm going to continue with the presentation just to share a little bit about the event. This is going to be happening starting the 31st of October. Esto va a empezar el 31 de octubre y va a terminar el 2 de noviembre. Pero también el 30 de octubre tenemos una cena VIP a la que pueden acompañarnos. Y ahorita les voy a compartir todo lo que viene de la parte de la agenda, pero este año es un evento muy especial porque lo estamos organizando junto con el equipo de Ethereum Monterrey. Este año el equipo de Ethereum México y también Ethereum Monterrey se unieron para crear Ethereum México en Monterrey. This is a very special year because the Ethereum Monterrey community and also the Ethereum Mexico community are coming together to organize Ethereum Mexico in Monterrey this year. And yeah, but Mitch, what if you tell us about the hackathon and main sponsors of the conference? ¿Qué tal si nos dices sobre los sponsors y también los premios del hackathon?
Works better when it's unmuted, right?
There we go. I was going to say,
there
we go.
Okay, so we're gonna have right now we have 3 key sponsors that are sponsoring some hackathon tracks, and we also have some exciting tracks coming out of Ethereum Mexico. Our 3 sponsors at the moment will be from Arbitrum, from Scroll, and from ENS, and maybe more to come. Who knows? Anything can happen in 2 weeks. We also got some really cool tracks coming out of Ethereum Mexico. We're going to have one on identity and governance, another track on financial systems and payments for inclusion, creators and the creator economy, and another one for enterprise solutions, institutional use cases, and Web2 integrations. So a lot to look forward to. Otra vez en español. Vamos a tener 3 patrocinadores del Sponsor Tracks, de Arbitrum, de Scroll y de INS. Igual tendremos 4 tracks del Ethereum México sobre identidad y gobernanza, finanzas y sistemas de pago para inclusión, creatividad y economías de creadores. Y igual soluciones empresariales, casos de uso institucional y integraciones Web 2. Entonces, así está. Tal vez encontramos más sponsor tracks en las siguientes semanas y a ver qué va a pasar. Pero estoy muy emocionado para el hackathon de Ethereum México.
Sí, estamos súper emocionados, la verdad. Estamos, seguro les vamos a estar contando cada día nuevos alfas. Entonces, bueno. Y aparte, el evento son en 2 lugares muy bonitos. Bueno, primero les voy a compartir la agenda y ahorita les cuento un poquito de los venues. El jueves 30 tenemos una VIP dinner que va a ser con fundadores, con instituciones, personas del gobierno, líderes de comunidad y demás. Entonces, si alguien de aquí quisiera asistir, escríbanos para invitarle. Y también, pero el evento oficial empieza el viernes 31, que es la conferencia y también el hackathon. Y después tenemos un side event con ETH Global, entre ETH Global e Ethereum México. La conferencia y la zona de booths, de hecho los booths van a estar increíbles. La zona de booths y la zona de networking y demás va a ocurrir en el Hotel Cristal en Monterrey. Todo eso en el centro de Monterrey. Y justo al lado del Hotel Cristal está un museo, un lugar como histórico muy bonito que se llama Museo Metropolitano. Justo ahí va a ser el hackathon. Está súper bonito, la verdad. Es como color amarillo, grande, como estilo muy colonial, muy cool. Vamos a tener como todo especial también de Día de Muertos, entonces va a estar súper bueno. Y también va a haber, coffee break. También para el hackathon va a haber cenas, desayunos, comidas y cenas, todo cubierto. También algunos puffs, va a estar bueno. Y ya después es el side event con ETH Global. El sábado igual, conferencia, hackathon, y luego el domingo es el hackathon, pero ya la submissions deadline o el último minuto para que puedan subir sus proyectos va a ser a las 9 de la mañana, y después la ceremonia de clausura. Y después tendremos la famosa carnita asada, que va a ser un espacio más como de convivencia, más tranquilo, para que estemos celebrando todo lo que ocurrió en el evento. Y por acá les quiero compartir también, aquí están los registros. Hay 2 links de Luma. Uno es el registro a la conferencia, y después está el registro para el hackathon. El registro de la conferencia tiene valor de 200 pesos, pero va a haber muchas comunidades que van a estar haciendo esta semana actividades para que se puedan ganar accesos. Y también hicimos estos 2 registros justo porque va a haber personas que vayan a querer ir a la conferencia, pero a lo mejor no al hackathon. Pero si tú vas a participar en el hackathon, regístrate en ambos para que tengas ambos accesos a los 2 lugares. Y también va a haber regalos de merch en la conferencia y también en el hackathon. Entonces, bueno, pues para que vayas a ambos lugares. Y Mitch está ayudándonos a organizar también lo que son varias sesiones virtuales pre-evento. Entonces, Mitch, ¿nos quieres contar un poco sobre lo que se viene de sesiones virtuales?
Sí, justo tenemos hoy a Austin Griffith para presentar Building on Ethereum. Y luego mañana vamos a tener nuestro Tech Lead de Ethereum México para presentar cómo construir una idea ganadora para tu proyecto. Va a presentar varias ideas, inspiraciones para empezar a construir tus ideas de ganar este hackathon. Y luego tenemos varias de la semana siguiente Bueno, actualmente cada día tendremos un taller sobre algo distinto para hackathon. Y más el viernes tenemos un neuropitch de Jordi Gracia. Eso también va a ser súper interesante. El miércoles igual tenemos uno de vibe coding, que sería súper chido. Diseño inteligente, creando smart contracts, UI UX con AI. Una sobre smart contracts básicos, muchas cosas. La neta es como está llenísimo de contenido súper interesante. Entonces, guarda ese espacio, que veas lo que viene la semana siguiente y mañana también. So we have quite a few. We've got honestly such a stacked schedule of virtual workshops coming up. As I just mentioned, today we've got Austin Griffith presenting Building on Ethereum in the house. Tomorrow we're going to have an excellent presentation from our tech lead, Eresador, on ideating some amazing things for your hackathon. Next week is also stacked. Pretty much every single day we're going to have a virtual workshop that's going to lead you to success in the coming hackathon. So pay attention to this space. We've got some stuff on like how to pitch your idea, how to pitch your project, how to vibe code, how to create UI UX with AI, learning some basic smart contract stuff. So really just like pay attention, because every day we're going to be putting out a lot of interesting content. So
Yeah, don't miss out. No se lo pierdan. Y sí, bueno, el día de hoy tenemos a Austin Griffith. Muchas gracias por estar aquí nuevamente. Thank you very much again, Austin, for being here. We're super excited to have you. Estamos muy emocionados de tenerte. Y sí, esta es nuestra primera sesión de Building on Ethereum from Zero to App, desde cero a app. Y qué genial tenerte a ti, Austin, que eres una leyenda en el ecosistema de Ethereum. It's great to have you, Austin. You are a legend in the ecosystem, so yeah, it's great to start with you. So yeah, this is your time. Oh, you're muted.
now it's your turn.
It's my turn. Here we go. Yeah. Hola, Ethereum Mexico. Sorry, no hablo español. I'll have to do this in English. So I am Austin Griffith. I am here to get you started, and we'll talk through how to go from zero to app. If we bring up my screen here, we can see I'm doing an Ethereum tour. We're going to lots of campuses and hackathons. So if your campus or university wants me to come visit, come hit us up at tour.ethereum.org. Ethereum.org is a great resource. If you're first learning how to build and learning how to use, learning how to learn, go to ethereum.org, and there's a ton of information here for you to learn more about Ethereum, how to build on Ethereum, how to use Ethereum. But basically, it's a smart contract platform. I think most people out there already know what Ethereum is. I always like to show off this one smart contract here. This smart contract has some very simple code. When you're writing a smart contract, you write some simple code. Look at this. There's a deposit function that keeps track of a balance for someone. And then there's a withdraw function that subtracts that from your balance. This is a very, very simple smart contract. This is the WETH contract, and you as the programmer can build this contract yourself. But look at this, it has $9.1 billion in it. That's crazy. So you can build a smart contract app with a simple amount of code that can have $9.1 billion in it. Woo! All right. Yeah. Whoa. So we're going to talk about how to build on Ethereum, but first I want to show off Speedrun Ethereum. Let me paste that into the chat. It is a great curriculum. If you are a developer or, comment failed to post. Oh no, could someone else post it? I guess I can't. If you are a developer, you can go to speedrunethereum.com and you can learn all the concepts. Once you grab Scaffold ETH off the shelf and build something like I'm going to show how to do today, You probably want to use Solidity by example to understand the basics, understand the syntax. Once you have that down, you can go to Speedrun Ethereum and you can go through each one of these challenges, and they're going to take you through how to build and what to build. Really, the advice that I have for all the builders out there is you have to just build a bunch of things. There's kind of a tour of duty you have to go through to really understand how to build on Ethereum to end up building a successful protocol. So we have these challenges set up for you. The first one is tokenization. You just create a token and you tokenize something. The second one is a staking app where you get a bunch of people to stake together to buy something else. And this is really going to illuminate the kinds of things that you build on Ethereum. You create a simple set of rules for an adversarial group of players to work together. The example I always use is, imagine you wanted to get a bunch of pirates that don't trust each other together to buy some desert island, right? If you wanted to buy some island, you need to get all these pirates that don't trust each other. If you pick any given pirate and you have them collect all the money from everyone, that pirate's going to get in his ship and he's going to sail away with all the money. And that's kind of how people on the internet work. You can't really trust people at global scale on the internet. You need some trust mechanism. And that's what these smart contracts are. It's basically code that runs on thousands of machines that no one can tamper with, no one can change, and no one can take down. And you only have to trust the code. So that's what this first app is all about, is building a decentralized staking app where people can stake in. It's kind of like a state machine where it goes from an open state and everyone can stake in. And then if you get enough money together, you can go buy the desert island. If you don't get enough money together, you need to give your money back to all the pirates and make sure no one loses their money. And that's what's the critical part about this. Okay. Then you can build a token vendor. So again, we had tokenization. Then this is another smart contract. So you have two smart contracts. You have your token smart contract, and then you have another smart contract that sells your token. So you put your token into this other contract, and then you set the price, and then people can come into that contract and buy your token for a price. Then you get into randomness. There's a dice game here. There we go. Thank you for posting that link. Then you get into randomness, and this is where it gets tricky, because randomness is super hard on Ethereum because it's a public deterministic blockchain. And it turns out a lot of people used previous block hash for randomness, and you can actually game that. So in this challenge, you'll create an attacker smart contract that will only roll the dice in a dice game if you're going to win. And it uses, basically predicts or it just goes and looks at the previous block hash, but it's like it's predicting what the random number is. It's pretty interesting. And then you get to a DEX. So we're building decentralized apps here. Before, if you wanted to exchange a token, so we've got these tokens, we can send them around. How do we exchange one token for another one? Well, before DEXs, basically you had to go to an order book, and an order book was centralized. And the problem with a centralized system is it can fall over. It can get tampered with. So what you want to do is build a decentralized exchange, one that will never go down and one that no one can tamper with. And so the trick with a decentralized exchange is that you write the rules correctly that allow people to swap one token for another. And the way you do that is providing a bunch of reserves. You need to have liquidity providers. And you'll learn about all of this in the DEX challenge, but it really comes down to incentives. You want to create the rules in a way where you're incentivizing people to provide liquidity, and the more liquidity that's provided, the better the swaps. So if you imagine some kind of vending machine that you create, you're just writing the rules of the vending machine, and then other people are stocking it full of tokens, and they're earning money as other people swap on those tokens. And so this is really kind of like an insight into the kinds of things you build on Ethereum, and why you build those things is because you don't want it to ever go down, and you don't want anyone to ever tamper with it. You need people to be able to get to it all the time. It's always on, never goes down, and no one can change the code once it's deployed. We have onboarding batches at the Build Guild. As you get farther through this, we bring you into a Telegram channel and we give you some more challenges. But then we have an over-collateralized lending challenge. So this is when it starts to get really complicated. Over-collateralized lending, allows you to do all sorts of like speculation and all sorts of other things. But you can imagine, even if you wanted to borrow a little money to go invest in something, invest in, buying something that's going to improve your business, and then your business can make more money. There's a lot of reasons why you would, borrow and have lending on chain. But in this case, a lot of times it's used for speculation, and people are taking tokens and doing other things with those tokens. But the way it works, again, going back to trust doesn't work on the internet. You can't just lend someone $100. They're pirates, right? The other person on the internet is a pirate. if that pirate was like, "Yar, give me $100," and you gave them $100, they would disappear and your money would be gone forever, right? So how do you create lending on a blockchain where you can't trust people? The key is over collateralization. Basically, someone locks up $100 and you let them borrow $50 of some other token, and they can go do whatever they want with that $50 as long as eventually they pay that $50 back, and then they get their $100 of collateral. But what happens is if something happens and that $50 becomes more valuable than the $100, right? So if the token that they've borrowed becomes more valuable than the collateral they put up, you need to have a liquidation mechanism. And this is really a really good insight into how you build things on chain and how blockchain protocols work. Anyone can call this liquidation function. Basically, if you want to get this function to run no matter what, if for some reason someone has borrowed these tokens and they're worth more value than the collateral, you allow anyone in the world to push this button, and it sells all the collateral to cover the cost of the borrowed tokens, and it pays back the person that hit the button. So whoever hits the button is incentivized. They get paid to hit the button. So this is a kind of an interesting concept, and this is kind of illuminating for the kinds of things you would build on chain. You can't trust anyone, so you have to have the code work in a way where anyone can hit the button to liquidate someone if their over-collateralized loan goes underwater. And if you have that same mechanism, you can create a stable coin. So then you have an over-collateralized loan that mints a stable coin. And then there's two other kind of factors there where you incentivize people to hold and lock up the stable coin if you need the value to go up. And you charge people more for borrowing the stable coin if you want the coin to go down. And then you have an oracle that keeps the price of the collateral. So all of those things, those mechanisms working together, keep this nice stable coin stable. And stable coins are great for places where inflation is really high. They're also great for just good user experience. If you get in and you use an app and you earn a little bit of ETH and it's $1 today, but tomorrow it's 60 cents, and then the next day it's $1.20, that's kind of a bad user experience. So even just user experience is better with stable coins. Okay, prediction markets. I think everybody has heard these a lot now, but prediction markets are really hot right now. If you go to Polymarket, you can find out all these cool prediction markets about, when will the government open back up again? It looks like the most likely answer is after November 16th. There's a lot of great information here because people are betting on this. And earlier, I was looking at this, and it was actually 60 cents for Seattle and 30 cents here. So you could have won some money here if you would have bet earlier. But it looks like it's going the other way now. And it's not like your money is locked up. These are liquid things. So you could buy in and you could hold it just for a little bit, and then you could sell it, right? This was worth 30 cents an hour ago, and now it's worth 90 cents. So if you put $100 in there, you would have tripled your money. So that's kind of an interesting gamble, right? This is gambling, but all of these people speculating on this market are actually creating information, and you can get in and you can look at this and you can see the likely outcome of something happening. And these information markets are very powerful. Another thing we see a lot building on chain and off is ZK, zero knowledge. Definitely go check out zero knowledge and all of that tech, oracles and multisigs and so much more. There's a lot to learn. That's all on Speedrun Ethereum, and the link is there. Okay, let's go. We got maybe 10 or 20 minutes. Let's build something real quick. Let's go build something. So we're going to use Scaffold ETH. Let's jump over here. Yes, here we go. So here's scaffold ETH. Let's build something and deploy it. And we're going to deploy it probably out to an L2. I think I heard, was Arbitrum one of the sponsors? Arbitrum and Scroll? What was it?
Scroll.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's deploy to Arbitrum. They're also the most decentralized L2 here. So our goal should be, let's deploy a little app to Arbitrum. So how do we do it? Okay, let's get started. And by the way, like these L2s, they're like little baby Ethereums, right? They're a bunch of little like fast, cheap baby Ethereums that settle to Ethereum. So you have this nice experience where you only have to pay a couple of pennies to deploy smart contracts. And it costs a fraction of a cent for people to interact with that smart contract. And it happens almost immediately. So it's faster and cheaper than mainnet Ethereum. Mainnet Ethereum is a great settlement layer and way more secure and way more decentralized, and you use that for your high value transactions. But we're going to deploy to an L2 where it's faster and cheaper. Yes, thank you for that link, scaffoldeth.io. Let's get started. So there's an mpx command. I'm just going to make like a clicker game button thing, right? I'm just going to make a little clicker game where the button goes up. I don't know exactly what we're going to build here. You have your choice between Hard Hat or Foundry. Really, you can choose either one here. The commands within Scaffold ETH are all going to be the same. You're going to yarn compile, yarn deploy. I'll pick Foundry just because the cracked developers like to use it. I think they like it because it's fast and you can write your tests in Solidity. I think Hard Hat is more like in TypeScript versus Rust or versus Solidity, and sometimes front-end developers like Hard Hat a little bit more. The deployments in Hard Hat used to be a little smoother, but I think it's basically the same whether you use either one. And you'll find a lot of this in Ethereum. There's always a couple of answers. You can see behind me, I have both a Geth node and a Reth node running. You can have multiple different clients that run Ethereum. And if one of them has a bug, a week ago, my Reth client went down, but Ethereum didn't go down because we have client diversity. So there's diversity all up and down the stack. And the choice between Hard Hat and Foundry is just another piece of the diversity of Ethereum. Okay, so how do you build an app? We're going to start with Scaffold ETH. Sorry if this is kind of small. I'll zoom in a little bit. We're going to need to run a few commands, okay? We're going to need to run yarn chain, and that's going to bring up our local blockchain. So now we have a local blockchain with a bunch of accounts that are loaded up with a bunch of ETH, and we're going to need to bring up a front end. I'm going to do a yarn start, and that brings up a front end, okay? So we've got a blockchain and a front end all running locally. And then we can yarn deploy, and that's going to deploy a smart contract. Scaffold ETH comes with this simple greeter smart contract that we'll look at in a little bit. It deploys it to our local blockchain, and then it injects the artifacts basically into the front end. And what that allows you to do is it allows you to have a nice little front end where you can interact with your smart contract. This is a hackathon stack. If you're taking part in a hackathon, like you are right now, most likely, this is the perfect stack for this because you can build your app quickly and you can iterate quickly and you can tinker with Solidity. And let me show you. Let me show you how we're going to build an app quickly. Okay, so here's our smart contract, and let's open up Cursor and we can get that going. Okay, and we go into packages, Foundry, contracts, your contract. Okay, so here is our smart contract. Okay, and it's just a simple greeter contract. There's a string that we're keeping track of, and then there's some set greeting function, and you call the greeting and you pass in a string and it sets it. So very simple smart contract. We've deployed it locally, and the greeting is building unstoppable apps. So if we want to set the greeting, we can say hello world. Okay, and what are we going to need? We're going to need a wallet, and this isn't going to work. It's going to fail. It's going to say we're out of gas, and we're going to need some gas. Okay, so we're using burner wallets here. These are generated on page load, and they put the private key in local storage. So we have like this kind of like really, really hot wallet, but that's great because we're just using local ETH here. We're not using real money. And so what happens is we can just click buttons and we don't get wallet pop-ups and chain IDs or anything like that. And we were able to set the hello world. So look at this. We can just click, 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 and we're just making transactions. You can see the counter went up to 6 there. So this is really nice if you're testing a bunch of things. Let's say we copy this dude's address and we say only this dude can call the set greeting function, right? Whoa, I don't know what that was. Let's do require message.sender to be equal to this address. And then we're going to say not, what is it? Not, well, I'm just going to say this is Austin. So we'll say not Austin. Okay. So only Austin can call this function, which does make it very centralized. You wouldn't want to do this normally, but we're going to set it up so only my address can call set greeting. Okay. And let's deploy that. Now we want to test that, right? Scaffold ETH lets you test your assumptions quickly. So now we should have this new contract deployed. We should see a new contract show up here as it reloads. Okay, and we should be able to set the greeting. Hello, I'm Austin, right? Okay, hit send. It worked. It set the greeting. Okay, now we need a bad guy. So I'm going to open up an incognito window, and I'm going to go to localhost. And now we have a completely different account here. See how they kind of visually look different? And let's load up some funds into the bad guy account. And then let's have the bad guy try to set the greeting on the bad guy. Now, hopefully this doesn't work, right? We have this line in this code that says you must be this address. And if you're not, you're going to fail. So let's see what happens. Not Austin. There we go. So you're not allowed to call that function from any other account. And instead of writing an extensive test bench, which you should do, you should write tests. But if you're at a hackathon and you're building quickly and you need to prototype quickly, then this works really great because you can just write some code and you can pull up a couple users and you can test it and make it work the way you want it to. Okay, cool. So let's dive into the docs. Let's say we're writing our smart contract. I don't know. Let's say we want to let's make a new function called inc by 3. What we're going to do is just increment by 3 our counter for some reason, right? I don't know why we would do that, but there's some counter and we're going to increment it by 3. Let's go ahead and deploy that and make sure that works. And then we're going to add like a little bit of little money to it. We're going to charge people to increment by 3 for some reason. But let's first make sure this works. Can we increment by 3? Our counter goes up by 3 each time. Great. Okay, now let's make a price function. So we're going to do uint256 public price 3. It's setting price equals, let's say 0.0001 ether. Okay. So that's not very much money. That's like 40 cents, right? Let's see. Maybe that's like 4 cents. Okay, that's a tiny amount of ether, but we're going to charge people that, right? So what we have to do is we got to make this function payable, and we're going to require that the message.value is equal to the price and say not the right price, okay? And then we're going to do something really interesting. We're programming money here. So let's do something along the lines of price equals price times 102 divided by 100. Okay, you can't do 2%. You can't multiply it by 0.02 because you can't do decimals. You have to do this numerator and denominator thing because the EVM doesn't like decimals. We want the EVM to be as simple as possible so you can run it on a very small machine so the whole network is more decentralized. So that's why you have to do this little numerator denominator thing here. No problem though. What's going to happen is anybody can get in here and increment this by 3. But the price is going to go up by 2% each time they do. So we were kind of building a little price curve to increment the counter for some reason. Now, of course, you would be building a much more interesting app. If you go to speedrunethereum.com and you go through some of these apps, you're going to find these are much more complicated and much more interesting. I'm just making a quick example so we can run through how to build something quickly, show you how you can tinker and how you can deploy. So it's your job out there to do something way cooler than just make a counter that has a price curve. But let's make sure everything works, and then we can move over to start working on our front end. Feel free to drop questions in the chat. If you have any questions, I can answer them. I can see the chat from here. Okay, so we should have this inc by 3. Oh no, it doesn't look right. Payable inc by 3 Oh, I didn't hit save, I don't think. I'm sorry. Okay, let's try that again. Let's deploy now that I've actually saved the contract. What we should see is this ink by 3 has like a payable field. We should get a new contract here. We're compiling, still compiling. There we go. We should get a new contract here. Yep. And the ink by 3 now should have some value we can play. Oh no, I'm going to need a translator. Respondas in vivo. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know.
Oh, she was just saying to leave your question so that you can answer it in person.
Great. That's you guys putting it. It's Ethereum Mexico. Got
Yeah.
it. Okay, sweet. Yeah, please drop some questions in there. Okay, so we want to increment by 3. So we're going to have to pay 0.0001, right? And again, you can't do decimals. You have to do this thing where you multiply it by 10 to the 18. Of course, you wouldn't have your user do this. You as the developer just need to know how to do this. This number is the same as this number here. So we're going to pay some money to increment our counter by 3. And if we try to increment it again, it's not going to work. All right. Okay. So what we need to do is pay a little bit more, right? It's went up by 2%. All right. And then it went up by 2% again. So you can see the price is starting to go up on a price curve. And we have to send in more and more money every time we call this. And you can see it going up more and more. And how much money do we have in here? Now there's 20 cents loaded up. Now there's 25 cents loaded up, right? And each time we call this, it gets more and more expensive. Now there's 29 cents in there. So this smart contract is holding money and the price is incrementing by 2%. And our counter is going up for some reason. Of course, you'd want to do something much more interesting here. If you have a price curve like this, maybe you're letting people buy and sell assets. Maybe you're collecting an NFT or a token, but we're just incrementing a counter for fun here. Okay, so let's figure something out here. Now, what you can do is you can use AI, and that's what I want to do for the rest of this. First, let's look at the docs. If you're going to do it old school and you're going to build out your app, you're going to need to know about these hooks. The docs are just at docs.scaffold.eth. When you want to read from your smart contract, you'll use scaffold contract read. And when you want to write from your smart contract, you'll use scaffold contract write. Okay. And those are the 2 hooks that you'll use in your front end to read and write from your contract. But guess what? We've already written a cursor rules file here where we're going to tell the AI how to do this. And so it's really smart. It can actually figure this stuff out. Okay. So let's see. We've already got a smart contract that has a counter that goes up. Maybe we want to do something more interesting. And let's take this same price function from ink by 3 and actually mint an ERC20 token. Yeah, there we go. Each time someone pays. Okay, so I guess I'm kind of like coming up with this as I'm writing this. So I guess I want a buy function that starts at 0.00101, right? Like 4 cents, and mints some other, what should we call it? No, I'm just going to call it token called vibe. Okay, so we're going to mint some vibe token, and you get, so you always get 10 vibe each time you buy, but the price needs to go up 2%. So use the price and multiply by 102 and divide. It probably knows how to do all this stuff already. Divide by 100, right? It should see that from the contract. Should have a function, okay? And then we want to do put a button in the front end that lets you buy and shows the current price, something like that, and maybe how much ETH is in the contract. Okay, so what's going to happen here is ETH is going to accumulate, right? We're going to need to be able to withdraw the money, I guess. I guess we kind of don't want to do that, right? what do we want to do here? It'd be cool if they could like turn the money back in and get it back, but that gets kind of tricky. You at home should build something way more cool. Oh, here we go. How can I? Yes, we're going to do that. Mitch, I promise you in the next 5 minutes, we're going to deploy this thing to an actual blockchain. I promise you. Right now, I'm just thinking of the mechanics. You should spend a lot more time than I'm thinking about this. Let's see. Yes, go ahead. Was there a question?
Token.
What's that? Yeah, we're making a token, and you can buy
like,
it onto Bonding Curve. Maybe we'll set it up so. Oh, here we go. We're going to use the MCP. Set it up so. No, let's just make this burner wallet be able to withdraw the funds. Let's see. Set it up so this address can withdraw the funds in the contract. Okay. So we're basically doing a token sale here. Okay, no, I don't want to do that. I feel like that's like illegal or something. Set it up so no one can withdraw the funds. Okay? You are burning ETH to mint vibe. There we go. That's way cooler, right? No one's making any money. Don't actually use this. If like someone was making money, there would be like some other, motives here. Basically what we want is this thing to build the smart contract that mints some vibe token. We want a front end that allows people to click the button and pay 4 cents. And then it's going to go up by 2% every time someone gets it. So you can go mint this vibe token. It's going to cost you money. The money is going to go up on a price curve. No one gets the money. Like, hopefully it's going to write this smart contract correctly so no one can get the money. So vibe is basically burned ETH. It's a token that represents burned ETH. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's see. Get current price, old price. Okay, that's just for the event. This looks good. Okay, so we're going to inherit the ERC20 token. We're going to have a starting price. Well, this looks good. Let's see what we have here. Let's go yarn deploy this thing. Oh wait, I don't want you. It looks like it did deploy it. I want to deploy it myself locally first and tinker with it. Right? We want to see that it deploy some vibe, and then this thing's going to go make a front end for us, and it's going to wire our front end up to our smart contract, and we'll deploy it out on Arbitrum in just a second. But I want to make sure that this at least like works real quick. Can I do something like buy and send in? Let's make sure I can send in this amount and hit send. Okay, something happened there. Yeah, the supply went up. There should be a balance of, right? Okay, so if we get this dude's balance. Yes. Okay. He has tokens. Okay. It's working. So you are able to get tokens. And then if we try to buy again, this should fail and it should say not enough. You should have to send in some more. Okay. And when you send that in, the supply doubles and you get, this should double. Okay, cool. So the price is going up on a curve and the tokens you're getting back are constant. Let's see if now, nice, sweet. So now we have a whole front end built like this. So it's burning ETH. You're getting vibe on a curve, and you're getting less and less vibe as you buy in. And it looks like the price is going up. Look at this. We built like a whole mechanism and a token here in just a couple of minutes. Okay, time to deploy this to Arbitrum, right? You want to go live. When you're showing judges at a hackathon, it's way cooler when you can just be like, go to my website and use my app, connect your wallet and go. So let's deploy this. So now normally we're just doing a yarn deploy, and that's deploying it locally, right? What we want to do is deploy this out to Arbitrum. So the way we do that is we do yarn deploy -- network Arbitrum. Okay, if you want to go to mainnet Ethereum, you put in mainnet here. You're just going to pay like $3 or $4 for it, right? I'd rather pay just a few pennies for this, right? So Arbitrum, let's deploy this live to Arbitrum. Now it's going to probably tell me I need a deployer address. There we go. Let's see. I have a bunch of these already. If you don't have these, you can do a yarn generate. It's going to give you an address. You put some money in it. I'm just going to start trying these and see if I have one that already has some money in it. And if not, I will go load one up. Let's see. Please work. Hey. All right. That account had a little bit of Arbitrum in it. Okay. So we just deployed a contract live on Arbitrum. Mitch, we got it. Now it's time to set up the front end, right? So we want to tell Scaffold ETH that our front end, like basically you could go to Arbiscan and you could interact with a contract. You could buy the token now, right? But what we're going to do is we need to set up the front end, right? So we're going to open, we need to go to the Scaffold config. It's right here. And we need to set it to Arbitrum, right? So we are on Foundry right now. We want to say we want to be on Arbitrum. Nasapolia, we went live. Okay, and the polling interval will be 3 seconds. Really, we just need to change this, target network Arbitrum. And then what's going to happen is our app is going to reload, okay? So now our app is ready to go, and you can connect your wallet. I'm going to connect my Rainbow wallet. It's going to bump me over to Arbitrum if I'm not on the right network, and then I'm going to buy some Vibe. I'm actually going to pay a penny here, and it's going to mint me some token, and I'm going to get a notification on my phone that I just executed a contract action, and I just minted 10 Vibe. I got this cool you minted Vibe. It's actually on my phone live on a network, okay? So now let me set it up so you guys can go do this, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop my front end, and I'm going to do yarn IPFS, and I'm going to deploy my smart contract, or my front end. So we've already deployed the smart contract. I'm going to deploy the front end to IPFS so anyone can go visit a website, and that website is going to be out on IPFS. So anybody can go peer-to-peer and download the website and then talk to the smart contract that's peer-to-peer on a decentralized system. So all of this is distributed and decentralized. If you wanted to shut it down, it would be very hard. If you were going to shut it down, you could only shut down the front end by making the front end illegal. Like you cannot stop that smart contract. If we look at the smart contract code, there's literally no way to stop it unless you stop all of Arbitrum. There's nothing built into this that stops it or shuts it down. So that is going to be up forever. And our front end is now going to be distributed to a whole bunch of IPFS pinners. We ran yarn deploy to put our smart contract out there, and I ran yarn IPFS to make the front end. Now, who wants to go buy some Vibe by burning Ethereum? Not a good idea. Don't go do this. Don't actually go spend real money on this. Yes, this is not financial advice. This is just an example for a smart. Oh, no, I can't. For some reason, it won't let me comment here. Let's see. Let me go. I'm going to go to
put it into the chat here, and we can share it.
Yes, let me put it into the private chat, and then you guys can share it. There we go. And I could also put this on Vercel, right? Maybe I don't want to put this on IPFS. If I just do yarn Vercel, YOLO -- prod, it's going to push this out to production. Sure, one of my projects. Sure, link it to that one. Okay, so we're uploading this to Vercel too, so there'll be a nice little easy Vercel website. But also, let me go here, and I'm going to set up a text box and a QR code. And if you haven't seen ETH build before, go check out eth.build. There's a lot of great stuff here. It talks about hash functions and blockchain and transactions. And this is a really good, if you're a technical person, you can dive in and learn how all of this stuff works, how all this blockchain stuff works. But here you go. Here is the link. If you at home want to, you can scan this QR code and go buy some Vibe, but you really shouldn't. Please don't. In fact, please do not go buy some Vibe. But you can by burning 4 cents of ETH. Hey, thanks, Mitch. Mitch got some Vibe. Way to go. Thank you for participating. Oh, what happened? Did we get a problem? Something happened with Vercel here. Darn it. Okay. We'll have to fix that. Oh, it looks like I'm getting a Vercel link, but it's already on IPFS. So our app is live. Let me go buy some more on the app. Let's see. Let's go back to that app link real quick. I want to go buy some with my wallet again. There we go. Yeah, we can see some. Yeah, two purchases already. Okay, so I connect my wallet and I buy some Vibe. Oh, it needs to bump me over to Arbitrum. I click buy Vibe. And there we go. I'm going to spend another penny and I'm going to buy some Vibe. So we were able to build an app very, very quickly thanks to Claude and Cursor and Scaffold ETH. We just got in here and we tinkered around for a little bit, but we really didn't even need to do that. We could have just dropped in and prompted this right away and we'd have an app. Now you have to be careful and go slow and get an audit if you're going to do things on mainnet. Like this is very dangerous and reckless. just showing you that you at the hackathon can do this very quickly and you can build things quickly thanks to Scaffold ETH. And go to Speedrun Ethereum to learn more. But there we go. I'm buying some more Vibe. Yeah, burning ETH to buy Vibe. There it goes. Okay, any questions? I think that's basically my whole run. Go to scaffoldeth.io and build your hackathon project in minutes. The hardest thing is knowing what to build, right? How to build is easy, and how Ethereum works is complicated, but you can learn it. But learning what to build, figuring out a really good idea that people will actually use, building apps on chain that people will actually use is really tricky, and that's the hard part. And that's what for you at home to go figure out. Go build something awesome at this hackathon.
Amazing. Where do you go to get inspiration, Austin?
Ooh, I mean, like, okay, so crypto Twitter is a cesspool. Crypto in general is full of grifters, but crypto Twitter is full of people having interesting ideas and people deploying really cool things. And you as a deployer, you may be an introverted nerd, but you need to deploy things and you need to put them on crypto Twitter and you need to keep repeating that process. So go to crypto Twitter and pay attention to what people are thinking about. A lot of people right now are talking about prediction markets, real world assets, DeFi, vaults, lending, perps.
They made a South Park episode about prediction markets, no?
What was that about prediction markets?
They made a South Park episode about prediction
markets.
Markets.
Exactly. Yeah, that's how you know it's going mainstream, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. And you can learn how to build your own prediction market at Speedrun Ethereum, and then you can use Scaffold ETH at a hackathon to build a prediction market. So we've got all the tools and a lot of the templates here for you to build these things. It's up to you to come up with the idea and build something that people will use.
Amazing.
Yeah, we have
more Vibe.
We have some messages from the community, like Nayeli saying, thanks, Austin. Nayeli está diciendo gracias.
Thank you.
As well, we had a message from Gabriel Gutierrez. He said, Speedrun Ethereum and Scaffold ETH, best videos with Austin Griffith, regards from Mexico. And we have a question from Mr. Chris AI. What's the pages of QR?
Oh, I think he means what is this thing here, right? This thing that I use for a QR code. There's even like a seed phrase right here. It doesn't have any money in it. There's this button that generates this seed phrase. Don't worry. But this is eth.build. If you go to eth.build, I can't post it. Can I post it in the chat and then you could post it over to them?
Yeah.
But it's eth.build. And eth.build is great because it has all the stuff. Like if you wanted to learn how, let me zoom out a little bit. If you want to learn how key pairs work, right? There's this key pair here and you can generate a key pair. And then it's showing how you can sign and recover messages. And there's even like a blockchain component, and you can see what the current block number is on Ethereum if you call this function. There we go. There's the current block. And I have a validator right behind me that I can show, that exact same number on. Yep, that's the exact block of Ethereum, and I can see that here. Yeah.
I love your setup.
It's pretty nerdy. Yeah, this is the touchscreen too. Watch this. Whoa.
Whoa, that's crazy.
That's also a validator. That thing is making blocks on Ethereum right now. Well, not right now. Once a month or so.
That's great. That's super cool. I really like that you shared, like in the beginning, all the ideas or what people can build. So all the hackers can like make some, I don't know, they can bring up something new with that ideas or yeah. Está genial que Austin nos haya enseñado como todo lo que es, muchas cosas que se han estado construyendo en cripto y en blockchain, y así ustedes pueden ahora generar algo parecido o algo nuevo, incluso como mezclando cosas de las que nos compartió. Even mixing things of the things that you show us. Maybe there is a new product with mixed.
Yes, exactly.
Like super app or something.
And follow me on Twitter. Let me post my Twitter. So literally tomorrow, I will have a video that's explaining a lot of this stuff, and it will be all in Spanish. Carlos is recording it like tomorrow morning, and I will be able to share that. So if you want a video in Espanol, follow my Twitter here. I'm this guy at Austin Griffith. follow him on Twitter and look for that, because I'll be tweeting it tomorrow. I will tweet out maybe tomorrow or the next day, but I will have a video in Spanish coming out very soon also, leading up to Dev Connect, that covers all of this information in a much better way. Carlos will cover it in detail, and I was like all over the place and forgot some things for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, for sure we are going to share it. And for the hackathon, we have a dedicated guide in Notion. Like Mitch is doing a great job building it, and as well Carlos. And yeah, we are going to be sharing with you all these links, like this session with you, Austin, and as well the video that you're going to share with Carlos is going to be great for us to have it ready there.
And were you using an MCP server for Scaffold? Is that what I saw?
There was no MCP here, but I do have an MCP server. I think I'm using a couple MCP servers, like a Block Scout MCP server. So let's say what is the address attached to, and I'm gonna say atg.eth. So I'm going to see if it'll do an ENS lookup. Basically, I think I have an ENS MCP. There we go. It's resolving the name to the address, right? So I have it. There it is. Yep, that's me. Yep. So amazing. I have an ENS MCP and I have a Block Scout MCP. Wow. If I go to address.vision and I paste this in, this is for sure me, and it should take you to there I am. Yep. So that's all working. Cool. Thank you for having me. Good luck, hackers. Go build something awesome at ETH Mexico. I'm counting on you. You're building the future.
Woo, let's go. Yeah, thank you very much, Austin. You are an inspiration for everyone, and for sure we're going to have the next unicorn from Mexico.
Let's go.
Vamos a tener el próximo unicornio de México. Vamos. Nos vemos en DevCon. See you in Dev Connect.
See you there.
And in Ethereum Mexico, of course.
Yes.
In 14 days. Thank you very much, Austin.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Y muchas gracias a todos. Nos estaremos viendo esta semana, también mañana, con otro episodio nuevo con este rumbo a Ethereum México, esta serie de sesiones virtuales para que estén súper preparados para la conferencia allí, también el hackathon. Y pues nada, estén conectados y atentos para que estén atentos de los alfas que vamos a estar compartiendo cada día.
Gracias.
Adiós, que estén bien.